Hey, welcome to a long-awaited another episode of Q It Up with the Q Brothers. I'm John Quattrucci.
And I'm Ralph Quattrucci. Quattrucci, by the way, did you I'm going to show that clip to prove it to everybody.
I saw it, Ralph. I'm very disappointed the guy mispronounced.
I'm going to cut to it right now. Ready? 3, 2, 1.
I want to say thank you to Janice Succi for the new membership. Ralph Quattrucci for the new membership.
A few moments later.
We got a ton of voicemails.
Hey, David, this is Ralph Quattrucci. I just want to thank you for the proper pronunciation of my name. I've been watching your show for years.
Pleasure.
I know you stole Sam Cedar's set, but I still watch you anyway.
I stole his glasses.
Keep going. Thank you.
Yeah, when I saw Quattrucci, I was like, I can't think of any other way that would be pronounced.
That's how you pronounce the name. Mic drop.
Okay, so anyhow, Ralph sent that to me, right? And the first thing I see is the Trump rally. And I'm like, why would Ralph be sending me something about the Trump rally? And then I listened to it and I said, oh, so somebody out there's got Ralph, same name as Ralph. That's why he sent it to me. Then Ralph calls into the show. I was like, that is so cool. However, the guy mispronounced our name, and I really don't know why you didn't correct him.
Did not.
Anyway, Ralph, how's it going? I don't know. Did you get married since we did the last show?
I don't know when we did the last show.
So.
Probably.
I think so. I think it's been
I
that
got the
long.
band
So congratulations.
to prove it. So.
By the way, that used to be, on the other hand, when it was a friendship ring.
Not anymore.
Now it's a wedding ring. Right. So congratulations. And by the way, the weekend was wonderful. We had so much fun, and you were not obnoxious at all.
Not one bit.
That entire weekend.
Every picture, I have a beer in my hand. Every single photo.
You.
And it's not the same beer.
Once the ceremony was over on Friday, it was a nonstop drink fest till Sunday night. And if I recall right, you pretty much don't remember anything after about 3 o'clock on Sunday?
No. I think after about the 5th comment about your wife's ass and boobs, that's when I started. Yeah, okay, that's when I started drifting, because I remember the first 5.
Well, listen, everyone, it's been a while, and I'm still working on a Marvel Star Wars rant that I'm going to be doing solo, because I know Ralph doesn't like to talk about that stuff.
Can I just sit and watch you do like this?
Yes, you can. I'm going to go on an epic rant. So we were looking forward to doing this one 2 weeks ago, and it was going to be about James Cann.
Is looking forward the right way to...
Well, you know what I mean. Yeah. I mean, I like actors that I like who have passed. I like kind of doing a retrospective. However... Since James Cann died, Paul Sorvino died, David Warner died, Tony Sirico died from The Sopranos, and Tony Dow died, and then they announced he didn't die. Well, today he died. And Tony Dow was Wally on Leave It to Beaver. So there's a lot of dead people that we're going to be talking about tonight.
But tonight we're going to concentrate on 3, right?
You were going to, three, yeah. I think
there's a particular reason we focus on these 3.
Yeah, I'm going to talk about a 4th also because David Warner was in a lot of movies that I really like.
Yeah.
But we're going to focus on the 3, which is James Cann, Paul Sorvino, and Tony Sirico, because obviously there's a theme to all 3 of them, which are gangsters.
I thought because they all died, but. You're right. One time or another, they each played a gangster or gangsters.
Yeah, and I don't know how old. Do you know how old Tony Sirico was?
No, I can tell you right now.
I know that James Cann was 82 and Paul Sorvino was 83.
79.
So
Tony was 79.
So he was relatively young.
Yeah.
So they were all, and David Warner was 81. So they were all right around early 80s. So so they had a good run. I mean, Dad's going to be 88 on Sunday, and Ma's 83. So I guess I shouldn't say that. But so what I'd like to do is talk about each of the actors. And what we usually do is we talk about the films of those particular actors that stand out for us. And it always leads into a bigger conversation. I would say this, though, as we talk about James Cann, I would assume that Godfather is one of the top for both of us. So let's just cut that one out. Because that's going to be on both our lists, and that's probably the one that he's going to be best remembered for 100 years from now, even though originally he was supposed to be Michael. And he's Jewish. He's not even Italian. So if you watch The Offer, you'll see all that. Yeah. So let's start with James Cann, Ralph. So Anything you want to say about him, and then give me 3 movies that for you.
Oh, okay. So the only thing I'm going to say is when he died, and we mentioned this on the other show, I just couldn't get over. They said James Cann, star of Godfather and Elf, and that's in his obituary. Now, I understand that because both movies are really well done. He was great in both of them. Obviously, 2 completely different sides of James Cann's acting ability, but I just found that amusing. Now, my 3 favorites. Okay, so we knock off The Godfather. I have 3. So really 4. 4.
Yeah.
Thief, Michael Mann's Thief. Rollerball. I thought he was fantastic in Rollerball.
Really?
Yeah. And I'm trying to think. I know there's millions of them. Look. Honeymoon in Vegas, the one with Nicolas Cage. I thought he was great in that.
He was very funny in that.
But for me, the most James Cann-y is Thief, the movie that Michael Mann directed, where he plays a safe thief, a safe cracker. And I think that was either right after. I think that's early '80s. I can't remember exactly when that one was.
Yeah, it was early '80s.
That's quintessential James Cann. Oh, and then I just saw Misery for the first time, and that was.
Oh, you had never seen Misery?
No, and that was his comeback film. I guess he had some issues with drugs, and he divorces and all kinds of stuff. He lived at the. I mean, the one thing I love about James Cann is he lived at the Playboy Mansion in the '70s and '80s. I mean, he lived there, and according to our podmate Sean, that he slept with 25 out of 26 of the Playboy centerfold. So he holds some high esteem as far as I'm concerned. But for acting, Thief for me is the one. And some side movies like Enemy Mine with with Mandy Patinkin. Not Enemy Mine. I'm sorry.
No, that's Alien Nation. Alien Nation. Yeah.
The other one's Randy Quaid and Louis Gossett.
Dennis Quaid.
Dennis Quaid. He had a baby.
Louis
Gossett had a baby in that one. That's all I remember.
That's right.
Yeah. So, I mean, James Cann is James Cann. He had the greatest shoulders in the world. I think that was his nickname.
He was a man's man, too.
I haven't even talked about the one film that every guy my age, your age, it's probably the only film we admit to crying outwardly.
Brian's Song.
Is Brian's Song.
Brian's Song.
And I think that was my first introduction to James Cann. I think did that come out before Godfather or after?
That was it was before 71.
Yeah, that's what I think.
Godfather was 72, right? Yeah.
So that was my first introduction to James Cann, and that's a big introduction because that movie has stuck with me. Even talking about that movie or seeing scenes from the movie brings up the feeling that we all had watching that film. So, rest in peace,
Him
James
and Billy
Cann.
D. Williams.
I know he had some issues in the '80s. It's hard with that kind of success to not get caught up in it, but. He was good actor.
Straight shooter.
Yeah.
Always said what was on his mind. Tough guy. He was a black belt. But he had a long bout with cocaine, and that's what kept him out of the movies for a while. Actually, I think it was Alien. Was it Alien Nation that was his real comeback? Because Misery was after Alien Nation.
Misery was great.
But I mean, he did El Dorado in the 60s with John Wayne, which is was a remake of Real Lobo. Mm-hmm. But yeah, I love James Cann, and it's funny that you mentioned The Godfather and Elf, and I think the reason why that's going to be on his obituary is because out of all the movies he ever made, I think 50 years from now, those will still be the ones that they're going to be talking about. Because Elf has become an iconic Christmas movie, and it's not going to go away anytime soon. And Godfather is just, I mean, most people other than Citizen Kane consider it the greatest movie ever made. So to have 2 iconic movies on your resume that, again, they're going to be talking about for a long time.
Well, but again, what frustrated me was Thief is iconic. That's an iconic film.
But it's not. Most people have never seen Thief.
Brian's Song is iconic. Now, why wouldn't you say
most people of a certain generation have never
Elf.
seen that movie.
And I'm nothing against Elf. Trust me. I love Elf.
No.
I'm not even complaining about that.
But if you think about how many people have seen Elf versus Thief, or Brian's Song, which was a TV movie.
I know, but that's well regarded.
So people,
that film.
Yeah, I mean, Godfather is going to be the one at the top of the list because that's going to be shown in movie, in school forever. And it's always going to be in top 10 list.
I mean,
I agree, and he was great in it. In fact, the story is he did one little scene at the end of Godfather 2, a little flashback, and he got more money for that one little scene he did than he got for the first movie.
Yeah.
But he was a straight shooter. So there's so many movies, and I loved him in Misery because it was the first time, other than the end, where he was like completely vulnerable in a movie. I mean, he was at her, he couldn't do anything. So I like that side of it. Alien Nation, I love. Him and Mandy Patinkin had a great relationship in that movie. He was funny. It was sci-fi, but
they played it straight. I mean, he played it it straight. Buddy cop film, but even though it's one,
like alien. A racist. He played it like a racist cop. He was racist towards the aliens.
He was great.
And in the end, the alien ended up saving his life. But there's the Killer Elite, which I loved. Freebie and the Bean, which I liked with him and Alan Arkin. He hated it.
Wow,
Alan Arkin hated it. He hated it, and they both hated the director. But I actually like that movie. That's when those buddy cop movies were being made in the 70s. You love it because it's the 70s.
Right.
Honeymoon in Vegas, Eraser.
Yeah.
He played a great bad guy in Eraser. And at the end, when he's on the tracks with the limo, the locked doors, just a great movie. He did 2 TV series, Back in the Game, which was his last TV series. And the one I really liked, he played the head of a security of a casino in Las Vegas. And it was a good show, but it was worth watching.
I remember, and he had a daughter, right? There was a daughter in that one.
Yeah,
that was,
who was with the Dumal. She ended up hooking up with Dumal, the actor. Now Dick Tracy, he did. Now here's the funny thing about Dick Tracy. He did Dick Tracy as a favor to Warren Beatty. Now, if you've ever seen that movie, Al Pacino, Paul Sorvino, they're all in it under heavy makeup because that's what the Dick Tracy comic was like. Well, Warren Beatty asked James Cann to do it, and James Cann said, "I'll do it, but I'm not wearing any makeup." So if you watch that movie, the scene with all the gangsters, they're all in this thick prosthetic makeup, and all he's got is like a little French mustache. That was it, because he didn't want to.
He's a badass. Totally frozen. You froze.
I don't care if I'm frozen if you can hear me.
Oh yeah, I couldn't hear you. You froze, and I couldn't hear. So,
okay. So what was the last thing you heard?
Under a French mustache.
Yeah. So the only makeup he wore in that show was the little mustache, but that's so James Cann. So for me, I would say the three movies I would pick would be Alien Nation, Brian's Song, and then I think Honeymoon in Vegas.
Yeah,
I really love.
I mean, that's a
Honeymoon
good
in
choice.
Vegas.
I don't understand why you're iffy on Rollerball.
It was okay. I'm not a huge fan of Rollerball, and I thought he was okay in it.
Yeah,
so that's all. It's not that I didn't like the movie.
Yeah.
It's just not one of those movies like I go, oh yeah, when Rollerball comes on, I got to watch it.
No, I'm not saying that, but it's
with John Houseman,
right? And well, okay.
Yeah, I don't consider. Well, I guess it is kind of iconic, but so that's it for me. So James Cann, it is kind of sad that we're not going to see him anymore because I really do. I like him as an actor and as a personality too. Because what you saw with him was there was no airs. He wasn't fake at all. Good, bad, or indifferent.
Yeah, I just saw an interview, a late interview with him. I forget who the interviewee was or the interviewer, but he was great. He was talking about it was close to when he died too, but he was still spunky and full of piss and vinegar, and he just seemed like a stand-up guy. I'm sure in the 80s he was probably a total tool. I mean, but again, I shouldn't say that because part of the reason he had a rough 80s is he lost his sister, I think, to leukemia.
Yeah.
And that really affected him, I guess. And, that shows.
Well, I think that's when he really got on the drugs, right?
Yeah.
I think that's when he got
And he came from the streets. I mean, he came from, a scrap. He was a scrapper from day one, and it just showed in his film. Yeah. So it's great. He was great. Rest in peace.
Rest in
Star
peace,
of Elf.
James Cann. Sonny, star of Elf and The Godfather.
Yeah.
All right, now Paul Sorvino. Now, I'll go first on this one because, the first thing you do when one of these guys dies, and we're going to talk about it, you go through the filmography.
We look up old dirty facts about them that we can talk about?
Well, no, that's only when we have Sean on the show.
Oh.
He likes the spicy stuff.
Yeah.
I'm not really. I just want to talk about their performance. But the interesting thing about Paul Sorvino, who's been in a lot of movies, when you look at his list, there's not a lot that stand out. There are a few. Obviously, number one is going to be Goodfellas, which I'm sure you're going to have on your list. And he was great in it. He was, he was really good in that. But for me, first of all, he was an opera singer. He was on Law and Order for a while. He was pretty good on Law and Order. He wasn't great, but he didn't like shooting. That show is a tough shoot, I guess. And he didn't like it. He didn't like being in New York. He did, for me, he was in The Firm. And if you remember in The Firm, he was the gangster they talk about the entire movie. And at the end, when you watch through, it's him. And I think it was after Goodfellas.
It was uncredited.
The Firm was after
Uncredited.
Yeah. So that was a nice surprise.
Tony
Moralto, through the door.
The Moralto brothers.
Is that Tony? Okay. And the other one for me that I loved is The Rocketeer. He played Eddie Valentine, who was a gangster who, when it came to the Nazis, he bleeds red, white, and blue, and he went against the Nazis. The other stuff, he played Joe Torre. He did a lot of TV. He was on Star Trek: The Next Generation. He was in Cruising. He was in Reds. But again, when you think about Paul Sorvino, I think most people, when they think of Paul Sorvino, it's either going to be Law and Order, because more people saw that than probably saw his movies, and it's got to be Goodfellas. But for me, those are my three. What about you?
I don't think I have three. I mean, he's been around forever. And he's, of course, the father of Mira Sorvino, which is, what he's known for.
Who's not looking good right now.
For me, obviously, it's Goodfellas. Same things. Yeah. Firm, except I'm going to throw one at you that I'm surprised you didn't pick. He played the minister in Oh, God.
Oh, God. I just looked at my list. I forgot to mention
the
that.
Shady minister.
Reach down deep in your pocket if you care about love.
Right. So he was good. Now he's been around. And he's one of these guys who's been around forever. So I can't until Goodfellas, which is when he played Paulie, I think was his name. That he made that
Paulie Cicero.
Yeah, he made that unforgettable. And that's what he was known for. So now when you see him, I think he's done a lot of gangster films after that too. I said, he's uncredited in The Firm, and all he did was kind of huff and puff a little bit, and look great. And and the other guy with him is a guy that's been in all the gangster films too. That was in Analyze This and Analyze That, whatever, with Robert De Niro. So yeah, but I know he's got I went to his IMDb, and he's just loaded with films.
Right. Right, so, but it's funny. Like you look at I looked at James Cann, right, and you recognized almost all the movies. Right. Then you start going down the list for Paul Sorvino, and there's only a few that really stand out.
Well, and it's surprising the films he was in that you forget he had a tiny part here and a tiny part there, but I just feel like he's been in my life as long as I can remember. So,
he was also in Dick Tracy. He played Lips Manless, who gets killed in the beginning. Another gangster.
Okay. I didn't see Dick Tracy.
You haven't seen Dick Tracy?
No.
You should see it just for the aesthetic of it.
Yeah, maybe.
It's a very interesting movie, but all the big names in it. Hoffman.
I know. Pacino highlighted. That was he headlined that one, didn't he?
He did his own makeup.
Yeah.
That was his design.
Oh, really?
He was also. I mentioned Cruising, right? The Firm, Law and Order. Yeah. I mean, look, there are actors who go their entire career without having an iconic role that they'll be remembered for. So even though his list is long and kind of forgettable, obviously Goodfellas is not The Godfather, but it's it's pretty iconic.
Yeah. Yeah. And he's got 175 film credits, right? And I know, like you said, he was an opera singer, so he was doing other stuff.
Yeah.
He was also in Nixon. He played Henry Kissinger.
Oh, he did?
In Oliver Stone's Nixon. And he was pretty good, but it was Paul Sorvino. You could, but yeah, he's just one of those guys that you look at. He's just a working actor. He just did a lot of stuff. That's right. So another one, rest in peace.
All right, now
Sorvino.
You want to? I don't know a lot about Tony Sirico.
Neither do I. So all I know is
I'm going to lean into you.
Tony Sirico.
That's all I know him in.
Paulie Walnuts. Now,
no, I saw him in that one movie you mentioned.
Innocent Blood.
Innocent Blood with Anna Parad and what's his name? The Australian guy there.
Oh, I know.
What's the actor?
I know you're thinking of. I can't.
Oh my God!
He was supposed to be the next new guy.
Drew's gonna hate us.
No, I'll look it up. But
he's so good too.
And Anna Parad. You said Anna Parad, and the real gangster in that one was the other guy that was in Officer and a Gentleman playing Richard Gere's dad. Who was that guy?
Oh yeah, Logia.
Robert Loggia. Right.
Yeah.
Anyway, so the only reason I brought him up is because he's most famous for playing Paulie Walnuts on The Sopranos, and again, he's another guy.
Sopranos guy.
Oh yeah, from day one.
Yeah.
I watched every show live Sunday night. And that was before streaming. That was appointment television. I saw everyone from the beginning season to the last season, the last show, every Sunday. Didn't miss one. And every once in a while, I do a marathon, watch the whole thing again. And that's all I know him from. Like I said, he's done a bunch of films. When you look at his IMDb, he's loaded. But I think he was an actual gangster. I think he was in prison at some point in his life.
Yeah, he was.
And found acting, and he just Paulie.
But didn't he always play? Didn't he play a gangster?
Pretty much, that's what he was playing.
Yeah.
Some of them he's playing an extra. He's a waiter or a poker player in some of his stuff.
Yeah.
But it was always Paulie, and now he's always going to be Paulie Walnuts. He was such a big, iconic character in that show
with that hairdo,
that the winged thing, that gray stuff, and just the one show about the Pine Barrens is like classic Paulie Walnuts, where he ends up trapped in the Pine Barrens with Christopher. I mean, he was just a great character, and that's why I wanted to bring him up.
Was his character in the prequel?
Yes. And there was a guy playing.
Did he look like him?
No, but no. you know it's Paul. You're calling out everybody.
Right.
So I just wanted to bring him up as part of this trilogy of famous actors who portrayed gangsters, and I thought it's appropriate to just bring him up. I have no idea about him. I can't talk about any history, which, I'm sorry,
but again, you're such a big fan of The Sopranos, I can understand why you wanted to talk about that. Yeah. And again, Tony Dow, who played Wally on Leave It to Beaver, dead at 77. We used to watch that show in reruns. Obviously, we're too young to watch it when it was actually on.
I never remember watching that show.
Yeah, we did. 77. Gee, Wally, what are you doing, Wally? Now, the other one I want to talk about, and I want to talk about David Warner. Ralph wasn't prepared to talk about this, so I don't know. He obviously didn't do any research. But if you go down the list of stuff that he's done, The Man with Two Brains, he played Dr. Necessiter, if you remember that. He was in Time After Time. He played Jack the Ripper. He was really good in that.
That's the one I was going to bring up.
Oh, okay. Well, you know what? I went first and then...
No, that's the one. That's the one movie that I remember him having an effect on me, where he played Jack the Ripper to Roddy McDowell's H.G. Wells. Yeah. He goes back to San Francisco. Malcolm McDowell.
Not
what did
Roddy.
I say? Roddy McDowell?
You said Roddy.
Jesus, we're terrible.
Drew. That's okay, Drew. Drew, we want to apologize up front.
Malcolm McDowell played H.G. Wells, who tracks Jack the Ripper back to current day San Francisco. Current day at that time was the 70s. And he was great. He was fantastic.
And he was charming.
Yeah.
And he was like, I fit in this time.
Yes, this is it.
So why don't you go back to your time?
So
but
good.
he also he was in Star Trek 5 and 6, the films. Also, one of my favorite movies that he was in, he played the evil genius in Time Bandits. He was really good in that movie. Have you ever seen Time Bandits?
I have.
It's so good. Terry Gilliam.
Yeah.
And he played the evil corporate Yahoo in Tron.
Okay.
He always played a good villain. Always.
Yeah.
But he also did a lot of he was in The Omen too. He did a lot of animated
does
series.
He get his head chopped? No, does he get the glass get him in the head, or is it the big stake that comes from the roof?
I think he gets the stake, the fence through the stake. The
stake.
The fence.
Not the glass that comes off the back of a truck.
I don't think so.
Yeah, he got brutalized.
I haven't seen that movie in a long time. Right. So, but he did a lot of animation. What? And one of the best animated superhero shows ever is Batman the Animated Series, the original one, and he played Raj Al Ghul, who was played by what's his name from The Taken, Liam Neeson in the film. But he did a lot of animation voices, and he was very good. But again, you go through his filmography, and he had a ton of films too. He also did a ton of TV. But for me, it's Time Bandits, it's Time After Time, and I actually really liked him. In Star Trek 5 was a terrible movie. Star Trek 6, Undiscovered Country, was great, and he was very good in it. In fact, he was the catalyst for the Federation and the Klingons getting together. He was quoting Shakespeare.
Was he really a Klingon in that film?
He was a Klingon. He was the guy that was trying to get peace with the Federation, while Christopher Plummer plotted against him. But there were, you got two English actors quoting Shakespeare in a Star Trek movie, and it was also directed by the guy who directed Star Trek II: The Wrath of Khan, Nicholas. I can't think of his last name.
That one, yeah,
we'll
Nicholas. Yeah,
Nick,
we can't remember any names.
I know it's you know what, Ralph? You're 60. I'm getting close. It happens.
Yeah,
but it's just a confluence of a lot of dead actors all of a sudden.
Yeah.
Kind of sad, but like I said, they were in their early 80s. You can't. I mean, that's a pretty good run, and if you look at their career, they had a long career. And
I know we just lost Ray Liotta, another gangster. I mean, they're just dropping like flies.
He was young though, 69
By the way,
years old.
Innocent Blood, Anthony LaPaglia.
Yeah. Love him.
For our viewers who wanted to, I'm sure we're sweating about that one. Yeah, so that was a good film. Let's see, and then director Nicholas Meyer.
Meyer. I can't believe I didn't remember that.
The Wrath of Khan, the best Star Trek film I think ever made. Star Trek II: The Wrath of Khan. And I'm not a big, I'm a little Star Trekky, but that one is just fantastic.
Yeah, you like the captain. He put creatures in their bodies.
That's the one.
I know. So
rest in peace, these four guys.
Rest in peace, and listen.
And anybody.
Out of all of them, I think James Cann resonated the most with both of us. So I'm also gonna on Yippee-Ki-Yay, our other show. We actually did an episode on Thief. I'm going to put the link down below, above the comment section. You want to take a look at that? We do a breakdown of that film. We talk a lot more about James Cann, so check it out. So, Ralph, now that we've talked about all the people that have died, why don't we talk a little bit about what we're streaming? Can we get that stream logo up?
Okay, hang on. Ready?
Logo up?
One. Let's see if I get the
Where's the remote? Get the remote.
Ready? 1, 2. Okay.
Now, that is sweet, man.
Yeah.
I'm telling you what, you got your money's worth with that.
I do.
All right, Ralph, so tell me, give me a show that you're streaming right now that you want to recommend out there.
Well, not a show, a documentary, and thank goodness it's a one-off documentary. I can't remember where it's streaming. I think it's Paramount. The Day
Paramount
the Music
Plus?
Died. The Day the Music Died.
Oh, I saw a trailer for that.
Documentary
about American Pie.
Documentary about the writing, the creation of American Pie. It's basically
Don McLean.
It's basically a documentary about Don McLean. And I think it was probably commissioned by Don McLean because he comes off as the greatest singer-songwriter ever in the United States or the world. It's a great film. If you like that song, and some people don't like that song, including my now wife, does not like American Pie. She also doesn't like ABBA, which I don't understand. It's just a fantastic. If you don't like this song, don't watch it because it's played about 8,000 times by all kinds of artists. And then you realize, and he explains the lyrics. He explains how he came up with the lyrics. All these other performers are talking about how influential the song was for them, including Garth Brooks, who has a whole section where he did a concert with him in
Central Park, and how important that. So it's just and you meet La Bamba's sister. What's La Bamba? What's his name? Richie Valens.
Richie Valens' sister.
His name wasn't La Bamba.
No, but the movie was La Bamba, which we couldn't do on our podcast. When we talked to the guy who played Richie Valens, he didn't want to talk about La Bamba, but that's fine.
Yeah, his most iconic role.
And they showed where the plane crashed. There's still a farm there that has some stuff up for if you want to go visit that place. It's just a very
Big Bopper, Richie Valens, and Buddy Holly.
The Big Bopper, right? Richie, right? The three of them. And turns out that he took the plane because he wanted to do his laundry. He took the band's laundry and he wanted to get there ahead of time. And you hear the story about the plane. The kid flying the plane didn't know whether he was right side up or right side down and just took the plane and went. He thought he was going up and he just went straight into the ground. I mean, just.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, that's in the doc. But if you like the song, you're going to love the documentary because it's just. You just sit there and you're snapping your feet, you're bang. It's just great. It's great. And
it's funny. I just watched that trailer last night. Yeah. So I plan on watching it because I do love that song.
That's not Hulu. I think it's Paramount. But if you don't like Don McLean, I wouldn't watch it.
Was it Paramount?
No, I don't know. I'll look it up.
All over the place. Yeah.
It's fantastic. I loved it. and couldn't get enough of it. So, and
okay,
he did.
And
I guess
how
he
long
did.
Is it?
What's that?
How long is it?
It's probably an hour and a half.
Okay.
It's a one-off. Thank God.
It's only one episode.
All these documentaries that everything has to drag out for 4 shows is ridiculous. He actually did a concert in February at the venue, which was the last venue that they all played at before they took the plane out. In Ohio.
Really?
I think it's in Ohio.
Now, let me ask you this. Has he had any other hit other than that?
Well, he's got Vincent. He's got a bunch. But that's what more do you need? I mean, that's it. He's also married to like some 26-year-old wife now. He's got this very young wife. He's got he doesn't have to pay for a dinner anywhere he goes because of this song. And it's fun. They did some really cool reenactments of him and they explain. It's funny. There was a little bit of a Get Back feeling I had. They showed the recording session of the song. And when he hired a producer, he didn't like the arrangement that Don McLean had come up with. So he starts adding instruments, and it really didn't get going until they brought this piano player in that for some reason hit all the right. He just got the groove, and it's the piano player that created the sound that we all know as the song.
You mean the piano wasn't originally in it?
No. They brought this guy in at the last second. They couldn't quite figure out what they were missing, and he knew. I know the soul guy that plays piano. I'm going to bring him in. And the guy, it's just like what Billy Preston did for the Beatles and Get Back. He comes in, he just energy.
Do you hear any of the song pre?
Yes.
So they played. Oh, good.
Yeah,
that's interesting.
You got many versions. You got artists doing their versions. They had some little Irish girl who was doing her version of the song, and. Like I said, Garth Brooks does his version. It's just a blast. If you like the song, if you don't like the song, forget it.
I do like the song, and I like the story behind it too.
Highly recommend it.
All right, very good. All right, so I didn't talk about this much on YKY. I did recommend it though. There's a series called The Terminal List starring Chris Pratt. It's 8 episodes long. It is really, really good. Chris Pratt, who is he always plays kind of goofy characters. This is about straight dramatic as you can get. He's a Navy SEAL with what is it? PTSD.
PTSD.
But it's really a mystery. His SEAL team has a raid. I believe it was in Syria, and his entire team gets wiped out, but him. And throughout the show, he flashbacks. It's a little confusing because you don't know what's real and what's in his head. So it takes a few episodes to kind of figure that out, and then it really becomes a revenge show. But it's really good, and unlike a lot of series on Netflix, and this is on Amazon. Unlike a lot of series that have these filler episodes, it shouldn't be 8 episodes; it should be 4. They just fill it up. This isn't like that. Every episode is a good episode. I mean, some are better than others, but there's no filler episodes. I think you'll really like this. I was surprised how much I liked it, and it takes a little bit to get going because you're trying to figure out because there's a mystery involved. Then it's a revenge thriller. Then it's all out. The action's great in it. I mean, he really looks like he could have been a Navy SEAL. I assume, knowing Chris Pratt and how he prepares for stuff, he might have gone through some SEAL training because. The stuff he does is not typical of what you would see an actor do in that type of role, but it's good. Check it out if you get a chance. The other one I watched, I talked about this on YKY also, is The Gray Man, which with Ryan Gosling and Chris Evans. Chris Evans playing against type. He's the bad guy. It's directed by the Russo brothers who did the Avengers, Endgame, and Infinity War. It's good. It's like a popcorn movie where you shut your brain off. A lot of good action. The heroes get stabbed and shot 1 billion times, but nothing happens to them. But it still is a good movie. It's fast paced. It was a $200 million movie, so they went all over the world. It's a good movie. A lot of fun. No message. And you know me about wokeness. I hate wokeness. Everything's got wokeness. There's none of that. None of that in either one of those movies. So check those both out if you just want a summer action movie or series. Check both of those out. I really think you'll like them.
And The Gray Man is what?
Okay, Ralph.
Wait, The Gray Man is straight to Netflix, or is that?
Straight to Netflix. It was made for Netflix. I know they did a short theatrical run, but it was real short. It was made for Netflix, though.
Yeah.
And Ryan Gosling...
what about him? He's great. I bet
he's
great.
Good, only because he did the movie Drive, which I really liked, but his character was just, barely spoke, barely cracked an emotion.
Well, as Drew said, there might have been a problem there.
Well, and that makes more sense if he had some kind of, maybe he was on the spectrum. I don't know.
Yeah.
But in this movie, he's funny, he's badass as can be. He plays a special agent, but he was funny. He's got one-liners, and he physically, you believe he's doing a lot of the stuff that he was doing. So I really enjoyed it.
I mean, if you like him doing that, you should go see check out The Nice Guys with Russell Crowe.
I've seen that.
Yeah,
so. I like it.
The Chris Pratt show is getting dinged a little bit. I don't know why.
It's getting dinged. If you look if you go to Rotten Tomatoes and look at the critics, and then look at the viewers, there's a huge gap between the two. And I know why. I totally understand why. Because a lot of critics, let's be honest, are left-wing, and Chris Pratt is a religious guy, and they don't like him for that. But I'm telling you,
he's allegedly, not just a religious guy. He's a religious fanatic, if he is.
Well, I don't...
If some of his things that were attributed to him are real, then, he is a bit of a fanatic. But if he's saying that was all a lie, then that's something else. But
no, I'm not saying it was a lie, because I didn't hear about the fanatical stuff.
Well,
all I'm saying is, however you feel about him, about that, it's still a good movie to watch. And I think that's why he's getting dinged. Because the other thing it does is it doesn't really trash the military. It kind of builds them up a little bit. And frankly, there are some critics who don't like that. But I'm just saying, as a show and as a good action show, it's good. And I think you'll like it. And he's very good in it. He really is very good.
He's good in everything. Except I finally saw Jurassic Dominion.
Okay. I tell you, a friend of mine, Mark Tarbarch, who watches the show, he walked out.
When did he walk out in the film? When did he walk out?
He said it was awful. He hated it.
Have you seen it?
Okay. No, I after that, I'm waiting until it comes on TV. I'm not going to go to the movie theater.
Yes, believe me.
I'm not going to the movie theater to see it.
It's just, I didn't either. I paid $20 to watch it on.
Well, I'm not paying $20.
Well, when you go to the movie, that's what you end up paying anyway once you eat your popcorn. So I just thought I'd give it.
Okay, so what did you think?
I didn't hate it. I can say that. I mean, I didn't hate it.
Wait. They got to put that on the billboard.
Well, there's a term this other podcast wasn't great, didn't hate, right? I mean, it had elements that I found fun. Now they do. I heard it was
like two different movies.
If they did a whole Bourne Identity in the middle of the film, where Chris Pratt and the Bryce Dallas Howard have to go to Malta to do something, and it turns into the Bourne Identity. It's unbelievable, the stuff that they're putting these. And they meet a new pilot who's basically Han Solo, who has a ship that they need. I mean, they hit. But I have to admit, seeing the old cast there, seeing them all together, was fun. It was fun.
But was it a throwaway, or were they an integral part of the story?
Well, they created a story
like the three Spider-Men in the Spider-Man movie. They were a big part of the plot.
Yeah, okay.
They weren't just cameos.
No, they were. No, so, you didn't need them if that's what you're asking.
Okay.
You needed them to wrap it up. They needed to wrap it up and get them in before one of those people pass away. Which that's Jeff Goldblum.
Well, this is the end. This is the last one of the Chris Pratt trilogy.
I hope so, because his character with this,
Well, that whole thing when you control the Raptors, I didn't like that in any of those movies.
And he's talking to Blue.
I'm not a big fan of those.
But anyway, the movie you should go see. The movie you should go see is Nope. Jordan Peele's Nope.
I listen. That trailer intrigued me.
Don't watch the trailer.
To you talk about it.
Don't listen to anything. Don't watch anything. Just go.
Yeah. Because I wasn't that other one he did, Get Out. It was okay. I wasn't crazy about it. It was.
You didn't like Get Out.
Yeah, I know. It's not that I didn't like it.
Too woke?
I wasn't crazy about it like a lot of people. It was okay.
Well, Nope is a little woke. So.
Well, his movies are woke.
Right.
I mean, Get Out was woke. I get it.
Us. Did you ever see Us?
But I heard there was a lot less of it, and it was a little more subtle.
In what? Nope.
Is that true? Yeah.
It's not subtle at all. I mean, the whole plot point is the first film ever recorded was a black jockey for 2 seconds.
Yeah,
so
I heard that.
So it's all about,
and they show that in the trailer.
And that's one of the, the guy who ran the horse thing that they do. But the movie has so many other tentacles that it's insane. It's great.
But the main thrust of it isn't about wokeness, right? I mean, you said it's an homage to all those sci-fi
when you
films
watch it, you recognize. I'm not saying he copied scenes, but you recognize he's saying
he pays tribute to them.
That's right.
Yeah,
done very well.
No, I do want to go see it. I was planning on go see it because I like movies like you have no idea what you're going into.
You shouldn't watch any reviews or watch anything about it because it'll ruin what's going on in it, and you don't want that.
Okay,
ruined. The Day the Music Died is streaming on Paramount Plus.
Okay,
and
so check it out.
Like I said, if you like that song, you should watch that film. If you don't like it, they play it over and over and over.
Well, it's like that thing you do. If you don't like that song, that thing you do, you're going to not like that movie.
Exactly. So.
All right. So listen, Ralph, we have to. I know summer's been tough for both of us. We
just got to wait for more people to die. That seems to be what we're doing. So.
Well, I don't want to just do shows on people dying. I want to talk about movies.
All right.
So let's try to do one next week. And I'll tell you what.
Oh boy.
Why don't you, since you're the one that seems to be losing interest in the Cue It Up show?
Oh wow,
why don't you pick a topic? No, because listen, you spend a lot of time on YKY and you're busy with your stuff at your job, and I totally get that. Why don't you pick a category for the next show? Think about it, and we'll do whatever you want for the next show.
Oh,
all right.
So it can be any category. The world is my oyster.
Any category you want.
So I can talk about anything I want from a movie perspective, or what?
Well,
film based.
Yeah, film
entertainment
based, or TV based, entertainment based. Yeah. Since no one likes our family talks, I do, but no one likes those family talks.
It's a little personal.
By the way, we took Dad to the casino today.
I heard. What was the deal with the license? They wouldn't give him free whatever because his license expired. He's 88 years old.
You have to have a valid state ID to win at a casino. So if he hit a jackpot, he could not win it.
Oh.
And to get your credits, so they have to give him his ID so he can get his player card. Well, because it was expired, they wouldn't accept it.
And he's got nothing else?
Nothing else. So we got to get him an ID.
Yeah,
because I'm sitting there praying to God he doesn't hit a jackpot.
Well, if he does, he just shove him out of the way and you stand there.
Yeah. And the first thing they do is when they win the jackpot, they go to the camera.
Oh, wow.
Right. Yeah, so Jesus. That wouldn't have worked.
Well, you should have had have his arm go through you. So he's doing the work.
I barely played. I was just watching. It was fun. I enjoyed just watching.
Yeah, Marie said she came home with some money.
She did, and I've never seen him move that fast when he was walking. Like we got out of the car to go into the entrance, and he goes, "Follow me," in his walker. It was the funniest thing.
So he wasn't falling backwards; he was straight in.
No, and then we go in a line to get the card. We walk in, and there's a line to get the player's card, and there's 10 elderly people, 5 of them with walkers. Jesus. It was the funniest thing. I'm like, oh my God!
And you didn't take.
I'm in the Twilight Zone.
You can't take pictures.
I took a couple. I did take a couple. You know what? I'll send you a couple. You can post them up while we're talking about this. Okay. There's some good pictures actually of Dad. But he looked great. I haven't seen him smile that much in a long time. The last time you were home.
That's good. Well, I'll be back. I'll be back to bring that smile back. So
he's so looking forward to spending time with him and cleaning him and stuff. It's going to be nice. Anyway. Next show is Ralph's choice. I am going to do my epic Star Wars Marvel rant, which will be a solo show.
You're already calling it epic? It's some bold move.
It's going to be epic because I've just about had it up to here with Marvel.
Remember,
and
I
Star
work for
Wars.
Disney.
And I feel awful about that.
I won't mention them.
I will not mention them. I will not mention them by name.
I'm very happy being a cast member for Disney. Just remember that. As you go on your epic rant about Marvel.
Well, it's the movie division, so I have to.
Still my company.
I have to say what I'm going to say, Ralph.
Okay.
I got to be me. I got to be.
Well,
free.
I'm not on that one. All right. I'm not on that one.
What? You will not be on that one. I will not put you in that position. So it's only me.
Okay.
Okay.
Good to know.
And we'll probably we're going to get a lot of subscribers by that.
Before I go, I just want to say one thing.
World needs plenty of bartenders. 2 weeks with pay.
Coffee's for closers only. Third prize is you're fired. Always be closing.
Be closing. I use that in some of my meetings. Yeah. Put the coffee down.
I just want to No, I have that. Wait.
Coffee's
Ralph's got new
Hang on.
Put that coffee down.
Wait, how do you have all that stuff queued up like that?
I got it all programmed in my MIDI over here. This is what I'm trying to. This is what
so
I've been
cool.
spending all my time trying to figure out.
That's because of all our supporters who subscribe and smash the like button and share it, right?
Damn right. It's all because of them.
Well, I think they're going to be psyched that we finally did an episode. They thought maybe we passed away with all the actors.
You think anybody would care? I mean, other than the immediate family. I
got to get us some Cue It Up hats, I think.
Oh, all right.
A little Cue It Up merch.
Okay.
All right. Listen, Ralph, great show tonight. Yep. I appreciate you. I know you're busy, and I really appreciate you taking the time. And everybody, thanks for watching. And I know we say this all the time. We're going to try to put out more content. It's been a rough couple of weeks, but hopefully we'll get back to it. All right. Next category is Ralph and my epic rant.
Oh, this is going to be a good one. Going to be good.
Stay tuned.
Going to be good.
All right, everyone, have a great week. We'll talk to you soon.
See ya.